All right, let's talk about something that I think pretty much everyone is feeling these days. That feeling of being constantly distracted. We're going to dive into the science behind why it's so incredibly hard to focus and break down a pretty powerful technique to get your attention back. It's called the dopamine detox. So let's get into how it all works.
You know the feeling, right? You sit down, you're ready to get some real work done, and then, what feels like 5 minutes later, you're just endlessly scrolling through some social media feed and you don't even remember opening the app. If you've ever felt like you are literally in a battle with your phone for your own attention, trust me, you are not alone.
And here's the most important thing you need to understand right from the get-go. This is not a personal failure. Seriously, it has nothing to do with you lacking willpower. The technology we use every single day has been carefully, meticulously engineered to grab your attention and not let go. It's all part of a strategy, and it's absolutely by design.
So, our brains are basically under siege. How exactly does this trap work? Well, it turns out there's a whole system in place, the attention economy's trap, that's designed to keep us hooked.
It really comes down to just a few key tools. You've got infinite scroll, which means there's literally no natural place to stop. You have push notifications constantly buzzing and begging for your attention. But the real king of them all is something called variable rewards. Just think about a slot machine. You pull a lever, you might win big, you might get nothing. It's that maybe that's so addictive. Refreshing your feed is the exact same thing.
And look, don't just take my word for it. This isn't some conspiracy theory. Sean Parker, the founding president of Facebook, admitted it himself. He said they knew they were creating a social validation feedback loop. They knew they could exploit a basic vulnerability in our psychology to get us to consume as much of our time and attention as possible. It was intentional.
Okay, so we keep using this word dopamine. But to really get what's going on inside our heads, we have to clear up the single biggest myth that surrounds it.
So here it is, the core misunderstanding. We all think dopamine is the pleasure chemical, but it's not. It's not about the enjoyment you get after you do something. It's the motivation chemical. It's the thing that makes you want it, that drives you to seek it out in the first place. It's all about the anticipation.
Dr. Anna Lembke, an addiction expert at Stanford, just puts it perfectly. She says it's all about the wanting, and that distinction is absolutely critical. It helps you understand that addiction isn't really about chasing pleasure. It's about this compulsive, nonstop drive to seek, even long after it stops feeling good.
So what happens when we just flood our brains with these super intense artificial rewards all day long? Well, your brain is pretty smart. It tries to protect itself. It essentially starts to turn down the volume by getting rid of some of its dopamine receptors. This whole process is called downregulation.
And that is the trap. Your brain's baseline for what it considers stimulating gets pushed higher and higher. So all the normal, simple pleasures, like taking a walk, having a good chat with a friend, or reading a book, they just start to feel kind of dull. You're stuck in this cycle where you crave more and more, but you actually enjoy everything less.
Okay, so that all sounds a little bleak, right? But here's the good news. How do we get out of this cycle? How do we reset our brain's reward system? Well, this is where the whole idea of a dopamine fast comes into play. Okay, first things first, let's be super clear. You can't actually fast from a chemical in your brain. That's impossible. The term is just really catchy. The guy who created it, Dr. Cameron Sapa, he explains that it's actually a technique from cognitive behavioral therapy. The whole point is just to intentionally step away from these compulsive behaviors for a little while so you can regain some control.
So, what does this actually look like? Well, the great thing is, you don't have to go live in a cave. There are levels to this. You could start with a partial detox, right? Maybe just stay off social media for a few hours every night. Or you could try a full 24-hour reset on a weekend. And for something deeper, a 30-day reset where you focus on one specific habit can give your brain a real chance to recover.
So let's move beyond just avoiding things. What are some actual, practical tools you can use to start actively rewiring your brain for focus? Let's build your new toolkit.
One of the absolute best is the Pomodoro technique. It is so simple. You pick one task, just one, and you work on it for 25 minutes straight. Timer on, no interruptions. Then you take a 5-minute break. This simple structure trains your brain to focus, and the breaks make sure you don't burn out.
And this isn't just some random productivity tip. The data really backs it up. Studies have shown that using this technique can lead to a 20% drop in mental fatigue and can boost your own feeling of focus by anywhere from 15 to 25%. It just works. Okay, now for a strategy that might feel a little weird at first. What about when you're not working? Instead of filling every single spare second with a podcast or music or scrolling, just try doing nothing, like intentionally embrace boredom. Why? Well, when your brain isn't busy with outside stuff, it activates this thing called the default mode network, and that's where creativity and big ideas come from.
And get this. One study had people do a really boring task right before a creative challenge. The result? A staggering 41% increase in their creative problem-solving skills. Boredom is literally like a superpower for your brain.
Look, the whole point of this isn't to live a life with zero pleasure. Not at all. It's about swapping the low-quality junk food for high-quality, natural stuff. Things like exercise, getting some sunlight first thing in the morning, or real face-to-face social connection. And here's a wild one for you. Just 1 or 2 minutes in a cold shower can cause a sustained dopamine boost of up to 250% over your baseline. Pretty cool, right?
So after all this effort, what's the big payoff? What does life actually look like and feel like after you've let your brain hit the reset button?
Ultimately, it's this. You get your motivation back for the stuff that actually matters to you. Hard work starts to feel engaging again. You start finding real joy in simple, everyday things. And most importantly, you go from being a passenger, just getting dragged along by algorithms, to being the one in the driver's seat, in control of your own attention and your own life. So once you understand that your focus is being hijacked on purpose, and once you start using these simple techniques to reset your brain's reward system, well, you can reclaim what is probably your most valuable resource, your attention. The only question left is, what are you going to do with it?